Hey, what's up, guys? Look at this, American Cinematographer. I saw this the horror spotlight, so I said, and it wasn't too pricey. I said, let me look at this. I'm sure there'll be something interesting in there, and it was actually. It was mostly interesting to me just to see how. I mean, I don't, I film with a damn phone camera, and I still have both an analog camera and a digital camera, video cameras. But you see how the ironic thing of video, right, is that mostly everything now is shot on HD video. Right? You have what is it? The red, right? The red is a big one. You have the was it the Venice? You have a bunch of these really, and I see how much they cost, man. They're like $80,000 to $100,000. I mean, those old beta cams, the analog ones, they used to be really expensive. The ones they would use for news programs, but regardless, I'm no budget filmmaker, dude, and I like using the old mini DVs and 8 millimeter analog cameras and my phone now. So look here, I like to look at the editor here. It looks like it's like Frank Miller. Of course, we have the thing with the keeping it relevant, right? Oh, the vid and entire streaming programming canceled. CNN Plus after weeks going live is scary enough. I thought it was great actually, but and then talking about careful, horrors coveting someone else's land is still with us. Oh, which country's doing that? Oh. Oh, please. And the subject is horror and or jeopardy from something or someone. Right. So, but like I said, this is interesting. It's not even a filmmaker's magazine. These people are not. These are the cinematographers and the camera people. And I thought that was interesting. I remember what was it with lighting? Right? Pretty much what the lighting kit I've used has not been a professional B&H kit. All right. It was let's see, I used a work lamp from Home Depot. Sometimes the best lighting I had was from really cheap lights or from flashlights. Of course, making video horror films, you want that grainy look. Okay, this is of course professional. So, but it was interesting reading this. I remember what is it? The three lighting. What is it? The key light, the fill light, and the backlight. But it was interesting looking through here. The how they would was it using the key light, the key source behind your subject at 10 o'clock or 2 o'clock. Of course the fill light was always better. I don't know. I always thought it was cooler, especially in black and white. You get expressionist shots, but these are cinematographers mostly dealing with colors, right? The color palettes. Right. This is right here. This is always a cool one. Adding texture, right? Illumination coming through things like windows, drapes, tree leaves, right? Texture and pattern of chiaroscuro, light shadow effects. This is really cool. This is really cool to do with black and white. I mean, I would work only in black and white. I enjoy it so much. But, unless you're doing like a real verite analog thing, then you want the color, right? You want the old video look. So, obviously, back in the day, I've always heard it, and you saw it when I saw the extras for the Lighthouse when they were filming it. Eggers was filming on the film and the old film, so they had to use really a lot of lighting, bright lights, to get the film to look good. And actually, it was heating up to people. It's supposed to be a cold, wet lighthouse, and everybody was actually sweating. Uh, as you guys see, I'm not getting too topical because it is interesting. It is fascinating, all this stuff to me, right? And yes, I remember the phenomenon, the Perkinsey effect. Listen, on a moonlit night when there's nothing around, it's blue, okay? Some people don't think it's blue, but it is blue. I see it that way. And they have the composition, right? Well, composition, right? Photography, composition is very important. Art composition is very important. I like how, in terms of the arts, right, the visual arts, and even the literature and music, where they all combine is in cinema, right? The old Wagner idea of the perfect combine artwork, which he never could have conceived as photography, right? Being continuous photography being shown originally at 18 frames per second, now 24, now 30, all the weird HD things would become this perfect intersection of the arts. Yeah, right, and the framing, right, the framing here, a negative space. Well, I'll show you later. We all one of the best horror scenes, the best scenes in a horror movie ever is the use of that negative space. I'm gonna show it in the back. Anyway, just going through here, some horror things I have no, who's that? Meghan Markle. Oh, no interest in this movie, Men. Remember this? Oh, the evil men. And here's one, the Venice, the Sony Venice. Look at it. This thing, I can't. I think this is like $100,000. I could be wrong. This could be more than that. So you gotta rent it. Yeah, this is Yellow Jackets, Hunger for Survival. I thought this was real quick. I just thought it was funny. It's like Lord of the Flies with a bunch of girls or something. But I like this. Once again, we come to what the problem horror is going to have. Okay, we talked a lot over the years about how violent it's shown to be, especially when women are involved, because we don't give a shit about men. It's like, oh well, I don't, it's true. So I told you, nobody cares what happens to a man, and there's reasons for it. But it's interesting how that continues when everything else has to be fair, right? See, we knew that we were going to be showing violence against women, and that had to be brutal. But we didn't want to make beautiful images of women suffering. So when you show violence, it happens out of focus. Oh. It's very pagan to actually show beautiful images, which these are not Italians. The Italian filmmakers were the masters of that, in my opinion. Is that Resident Evil? Oh man, I think the Critical Drinker ripped this apart. Jeez. Anyway, going through here, it's interesting seeing all the tech stuff. Listen, I was low tech. This is what I really liked here, right? Cinematographers, they hire the camera people of the classic films, right? The Exorcist, right? Yeah, they're using very low lighting. Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Talk about literally, right? 16mm camera, simple, basic. The documentary feel they use, even the music, they did it all. This is an example of like what I'm talking about. The almost verite, really making it like nothing you'd ever see. Yeah, you go to the opposite of what I mentioned before. The Italians, Suspiria, the lighting. Of course, you see especially with Argento, he liked to have the blue, the green, the red, colors, almost like the old tints when they would tint the old black and white silent films, and then of course yellow, right? You're seeing it, it's almost like a dream world. Even when you see the giallos, which are not supernatural films in the slightest, but the way they film it, the surrealness of it, it really is like almost like a dream. In the end, this is great. I like the verite horror, but the best horror, and this is great, but I'm just saying the best horror that really sticks with you, it's almost like a dream. And of course, this is like a dream too. This is like a nightmare when you're in the house with all the bones and everything. Now, of course, this is what I'm talking. This is one of the greatest scenes in a horror film ever. Okay, when you see the shape, Michael Myers' face, just the light slowly come on, lighting him up, very slow light, coming out of the darkness, literally like a ghost, man. The one of the best scenes ever in a horror film, man. You feel a chill seeing that, and like I said, using the idea of the space, the misdirection, and Dean Cundey, man, he did a lot of work. Like The Thing, he worked on The Thing, right? He makes a good point here. I like about how the lighting was you want to be careful when you're lighting the special effects. Okay, you want to be able to see the special effects. Rob Bottin's amazing special effects. But if you light it up too much, it's going to look, you're going to see that it doesn't, you might see that it's like rubber and latex, and it might give it away. And so you had to do it just right. I like how he goes, we set it up in an area where we justify using a number of small lights that would highlight areas. Of course, it was easy to do that because it was literally, mostly inside, very claustrophobic film, right? And back, light the back wall set so you can see it. Keeping it a little mysterious, but I was still seeing it. What a balance of it! I mean, this guy was great, uh, amazing, and of course, this film, jeez, man. You want to talk about when they always say like one of the most disturbing films, a list, and you have this on here. This lives. I mean, Jesus Christ, this movie. This movie was, and it's not even super gory. Okay, but the way it's done. Okay, the scene where him and his buddy have the video camera and they do the home invasion. Man, what man. It's just talk about you know. But anyway, running out of time here. Seven. Oh man, I forgot about that movie. Talk about '90s horror, man. I mean, Seven. It wasn't. Um, it's like, god damn, man, that fucking movie. Excuse my language. And Sleepy Hollow, I saw part. I didn't see this whole thing. I didn't see. I guess I should check it again later. Of course, The Descent, another very claustrophobic film. Of course, Neil Marshall. And 28 Days Later, which is of all these films, was the one that was shot on video. It was shot on a Canon. I forgot what kind of Canon it was, but it was the one they had. It was one of the 3-chip Canons. Was shot with this, and it was really done really well. Obviously, it had one of those really good lenses on it. But 20 Days Later, visually, the film was amazing. Nah, I liked it when it came out. Now, of course, I agree. It's actually a very insidious film. But hey, it's a horror film. That's about it here. The other stuff doesn't really interest me too much, other than we had something here with the non-hierarchical fashion. Am I the only one? This Indian one was bothered by underrepresented. Oh, come on. The whole world, they want this, apparently. But I like this non-hierarchical fashion. Let me tell you something. When you're making a great art, great art is not a democracy. It's a dictatorship, huh? And that's cool. Look at the shadow puppets. A lot you could do with that art form, shadow puppetry. And that's it. That was American Cinematographer. It was interesting to see it. The Ari Alexa, right? It's another HD camera. It was just interesting to see it. Oh, The Last Emperor. What a cool movie. So, a Marxist guy or not, it was a pretty good movie. It was interesting to see it. This with the horror angle to it. Light, darkness. It's just very fascinating. The horror films are as old as films, and the lighting of it, the composition of it, always the most challenging, always the most satisfying, but also can be done fairly simply in a lot of ways. You can get a lot out of these time-tested techniques, I'd say. Well, I sound very mellow and academic now. I don't know what the hell I'm doing, man. Put the light on it, see how it looks. That's the beauty of video, is you don't have the problem with the dailies where it's like, let's see how the film looked, and you're like, oh, video, you see it, I don't like it. Let me do it again. So, anyway, very interesting. Later.